And at 2 minutes, my background will turn red, in which you have 15 seconds to finish up your tape topic's response. The next and final time portion would be the evaluations, which are from 2 to 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, my background will turn green. At 2 minutes 30, my background will turn yellow. And at 3 minutes, my background will turn red, in which you have 30 seconds to finish up your evaluation. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Mr. Timer. Now it's time we move on into our very first speech for today's session. Our first speaker today is Tim Zhu. I met Tim for the first time, I think a little bit about a year or so ago, but a very interesting speech he gave us. He talked to us about origami, and that is still searing in my little brain to this day. So without further ado, let's put our jazz hands together and welcome Tim to the lecture. Hello, Tim, it's all yours.
Hello, everybody. So for today's speech, I will be talking about why hobbies are very beneficial for us. So first off, what exactly is a hobby? A hobby is an activity you frequently do for pleasure during your leisure time, and this could include creative, aesthetic, or intellectual activities. And all of this is just something that you take interest in. Some examples would be dancing, singing, for me, which would be origami and 3D printing. And there's a lot of other times. It doesn't have to be very detailed or complicated. A simple hobby could just be a short walk outside. So what are the benefits for hobbies? As you know, hobbies tend to be there to help us relieve stress and also take care of our time. So in our daily schedule, when daily routine, usually wake up, for me, it'd be wake up, you go to school, come back, and then repeat all that. And so for some people, it'd be wake up, go to work, come back. What hobbies are there for is just to be there in between those times to help you relieve stress, just have a bit of fun, and then relax a bit. So one benefit of a hobby would be that it helps improve your mental health. So when there was a research done that shows that doing activities make you happy, and that happiness releases dopamine. And this dopamine is what helps you be happy and everything. So doing something that you like, which is your hobby, would release this dopamine, which gives you better enjoyment in life. So there was a study done in New Zealand that found out that participating in activities brings out your creative side and also leads to an increased amount of well-being to you. And also it helps you in the long term. The people who were involved in this study felt that they had a sense of productivity and upliftment in their life after a few days of creative study and activity. This study also shown that the individuals take regular time off of their hobbies are less likely to feel low or depressed. So I would like to say a hobby for me, which is origami. This is something I made about 1 day ago. It's just a little vase. And I would say that during my time of school, I have many projects to do, but you can't always just sit there and work on a project for like 2 hours straight. You'll get burnt out and you'll feel tired and you just feel like you can't continue doing it. So what I like to do is often work till I feel like I'm tired and then go do my hobby, which is origami. This took me maybe about 10 minutes to do, and it's just a fun thing I like to do. So on the side, I grab a piece of paper, look up a video tutorial that I feel like, oh, this might be really interesting to do, and I make it. And at the end, I get something like this, which is really interesting, and I like, and gives me a sense of joy because I was the one who made it. And it was like, oh, this is really cool. I could have this on my desk. I can put maybe some other things in it or like an origami flower in it, and that'd be just a great piece to put on my table. And then after that, while I did take a time off from studying, it still kept me focused and in tune and not just on my phone, which would get me off task and off focus and make it harder for me to go back to working. So this is why I like to have hobbies in between myself, and working. So next up, hobbies, they also allow us to have better cognitive abilities. So not all hobbies might be intellectual, but there are some hobbies like Sudoku or just solving puzzles that you might find interesting. And solving these puzzles helps your brain be more engaged to everything. Another example would also be playing musical instruments. All of this helps you learn new skills. And with these skills, your brain is more in tune and also enhanced in these activities. And research shows that mentally stimulating activities contribute to cognitive reserves, which this is potentially reducing the risk of having cognitive decline in the future and also dementia. So this is why I believe hobbies are a great help to your daily life, and that you should, if you already have a hobby, that's wonderful. Maybe find another one or something else, because there's no harm in doing hobbies. Because all you do is you learn a new skill, and if you don't like it, you can always change to something else. So this is why I say you should always find a hobby in your free time and just have fun with it. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful speech on hobbies. What are hobbies and why they are important? Our second speech today, or speaker today, let me see, is a wonderful coordinator of the Gavel Club, Mr. Jason Pendergrass. Please, sir, the lectern is all yours.
Thank you, Toastmasters. My speech is titled My Communication Style. And what I've found is depending on the situation I'm in, I have two dominant communication styles. On the professional side, such as at work or during the one time I had to use it in an emergency situation, I use direct communication. Whereas my normal day-to-day weekend communication style is initiating. The direct communication style is important for a work environment or professional environment because it's direct, it's not sugar-coated, it's results-oriented. It doesn't leave equivocal instructions for your recipient of your communication, but it's got some drawbacks. You sometimes feel you're pushy, you're driving, you can push people away if you're not careful. So there's a drawback to the direct communication style. At work, I use it because one, I have a lot of things to do and not much time. So I need to get straight to the point. We move fast. Sometimes I need the high level information. And when an employee that works for me gives me the details, I get agitated. But I need to be careful about expressing that because I need to have them comfortable at times coming to communicate with me, especially if there's issues we've got to manage through. So I've got to be careful how I push that. But in most places I've worked at actually value direct communication because just like me, every other manager at work is busy. We're results oriented. We're competitive. We're competing in my world. I'm a maintenance manager. We're competing against downtime on the equipment that costs us money every minute. So that's my competition. That's how I measure the success or failure. So I move fast. On the weekends, let me back up. In emergency situations is when I also use direct communication. The good news is I've only had to use this one time, and it was ironically at work. A guy had a heat stroke. He was passed out in the bathroom. I walk in, there's 20 people standing around him, all in agreement. He needs some medical attention, but no one's taking action. Everyone's waiting on someone else. So I call 911 with direct communication. I tell them where we're at, what we're doing, where this person's at, what they need, and how they're going to get there. I call the guard shack and I tell them exactly what's happening. An ambulance is on its way. They're going to come through the guard shack, take a left, come to this door, come into the bathroom. I contacted the supervisor, make sure this aisleway's clear, forklift stay out of here, and we executed. I also followed it up with one more direct communication. That was to the safety manager, but it was a different medium. It was email. Throughout that entire process, we executed perfectly, except for one mistake. Luckily, the guy was okay. It didn't matter, but times of the essence in an emergency situation, we made one mistake, and that mistake was on me. I told the ambulance driver to come through the guard shack and take a left. They should have took a right. We have a big building. It took them 3 more minutes to get there. And if it had been a heart attack or something serious, it may have been the difference. Luckily, it didn't matter this time. So I made a mistake. But when I directly communicated to the safety manager, I explained exactly what happened, what went good, what went bad, and where the mistake was and how to fix it. So that was, again, direct communication. Now, my more natural communication style, the one you guys see and my friends and family see, is initiating. It's more positive, it's more energetic, it's more fun-loving, it's more relaxed. It could lead to equivocal communication styles, but it's not as important in those situations. The downside of an initiating person is you may you may listen to respond and not listen to understand. And I've got one friend of mine who's accused me of that several times. So it's true. So I have to be conscious of that. The other aspect is, depending on the work environment, those two communication styles can intersect. Sometimes at work, I'm initiating. Sometimes in my personal life, I'm direct. But most of the time, I'm in the proper communication, the normal communication style for that environment. So in closing, I just want to encourage you, as you're learning your communication style, and you're learning the communication styles of others, if you truly understand the pros and cons of each, you can be more effective in communicating and getting your point across, your message across to the recipient, and creating a good relationship, whether professionally or personally. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jason. That was an excellent insight on your communication styles, direct and initiating. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time that we move on into the table topic session. And I do believe our table topic session today was our class speaker. But before he gets started, let me see if I can get everybody behind the cameras to open your cameras so that he will have an equivocal access to everyone, right? Okay, Mr. Jason, Mr. Topics Master, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Toastmasters. Michael, what did you learn from yesterday's business expo? What skills did you develop? Or what challenges did you overcome?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Pendergrass. As we all know, yesterday, the Gavel Club had a stand at the Burt Ferguson Community Center where we sought to introduce new members to the Memphis Youth Toastmasters and the goal of the club. Although I had practiced public speaking in this club for over a year, that situation was still a new environment for me. Impromptu speaking from table topics was simple because you're the one talking, and usually it's a topic that's pretty interesting. But when I'm forced to face with strangers and introduce them to a topic that they may or may not enjoy, that proved a real challenge. In a short time period, without boring them, I had to give them the details of the Gavel Club and how this club may benefit them or their children. As a result, I was forced to use new methods of communication that were not equivocal and provided clear and concise information. As such, I learned a lot from the experience because in the future, for example, in a sales pitch in companies, I would use the same skills to pitch whatever my product my company is selling to the customer. I would not meander around, but instead I'll be able to give a good response that will sell them the product. Therefore, I'm glad that I went to the meeting yesterday and I enjoyed my experience. Thank you.
Good answer. Owen, same question. What did you learn from the business expo? What skills did you develop? And what challenges did you overcome?
All right. I was also at the business expo yesterday, but regrettably, I was unable to stay for the entire duration of the expo. However, in my time there, I did get to talk to two people and hand out flyers, which I thought was a very valuable experience because when I was talking to the lady and I was explaining everything about the Gavel Club, as Michael said, it was important to get everything out concisely and avoid any equivocal misunderstandings. However, and therefore I believe that it really improved my ability to speak and talk to others in a non-controlled environment such as this one. And I really enjoyed the experience. So thank you for the question.
Okay. Describe your business expo experience. What did you learn? What did you enjoy? Toastmaster Deanna.
Same question. Give me about your experience at the business expo yesterday. The business expo yesterday. What did you learn? What experiences did you have at the business expo yesterday? What did you
Thank you, Toastmaster. Yesterday at the business expo, I overcame my shyness by talking to strangers. At first, I was really shy, and then I got better. It was a fun experience.
Next time, be very confident. Next time, you'll be very confident.
Next time, I'll be very confident
You'll be able to sit in the
and be able to sell memberships. Thank you, Toastmaster.
Yeah. Okay. Peter, why, if you was approaching a classmate and they asked you, why should I join Toastmasters? What would you tell them?
If a classmate were to approach me and ask me why they should join Toastmasters, luckily, I've been in this situation before, being a former president of this club and a very active member of the club. Many people have come up to me and asked me, "Hey, I'm curious about what you were doing on Sundays. Why should I join it?" Just like you asked me. Well, the main thing that I tell them is that it develops your communication, which is something that you always do in regular life. In whatever profession, even a hobby, or whatever you're doing in life, it requires some form of communications, whether it's getting along with some of your friends. I play basketball. When you think of basketball, you think of training your skills, getting a better three-point shot, improving your handles. However, something that's maybe even more important is communicating effectively with your teammates and your coach. Another example would be public speaking in front of a large crowd. I'm sure that many people over here will at some point in time present or perform like Eric did in the Lunar New Year show in front of a large crowd of people. And getting used to talking in front of a large crowd of people will prepare you for a more professional world, but also allowing you to gain confidence in speaking wherever you are. So that's why I would tell them to join Toastmasters. Thank you for the question.
Same question. What would you tell your schoolmates if they asked you why they should join Toastmasters? Toastmaster Xavier.
All right, thank you for the question. So, why would I tell, or what would I tell my classmates or members, or why should they join Toastmasters? So first, I would tell them that Toastmasters would help them improve their public speaking ability in general. Another reason I would tell them to join is because Toastmasters, in addition to helping your public speaking in general and being more comfortable with a larger group of people, it also helps you improve your grammar so you're not in the middle of a speech or something saying the whole entire time. I would also tell them to join Toastmasters because it's a great experience to be able to come here and see people that you've met a few times and be able to talk and the table topics, listen to speeches that people have to give, and sometimes even the educational sections when we have a guest speaker coming. So those are multiple reasons why I would tell somebody to join Toastmaster. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
How would you grow Toastmaster membership for next semester? Toastmaster Jonathan.
Thank you, Mr. Pendergrass, for the question. So the question is, how would I grow Toastmaster membership for the next semester? So I would first go to talk with kids from my school and my class. These kids will be online, and they would I would try to tell them the benefits of joining Toastmasters and the skills that they can learn from Toastmasters to get them to join next semester. I can also post online on my social medias for to show the benefit of joining Toastmasters. Oops. Yeah, thank you for the question.
What are your Toastmaster goals and how do you see it helping you in school and in life? Amar? What are your goals with the club? Yeah. You can come here, you can come here.
My goals are to look people more in the face and to make me more confident when talking to people in a big crowd. Uh,
How will it help you at school? Interacting with teachers, learning projects.
to communicate with peers. To communicate with peers and
No. Okay. Okay, good job, good job. Okay. Jeannie, what are some of your Toastmaster goals? And how do you see those helping you either already or in the future in school and in life?
So the question was, what were some of my Toastmaster goals and how would it help me in the future? My main Toastmaster goal, obviously as a point of the club, is to improve my public speaking, especially my body movements, fluency in speaking, like without stuttering, and to be more confident in front of a big crowd. This would help me in school because I am in many clubs and I'm the leader of crochet club, so I have to do a lot of presentations and speak in front of my classmates a lot. So this would help me build my confidence when I am giving presentations and increase people's opinion of me as like a leader, I guess. Thank you.
What aspects of Toastmasters would your friends at school find interesting? Mia.
wait, what?
What aspects of Toastmasters would your friends at school find interesting?
I think the aspect of like being called up at random would be interesting for my friends because I don't think any of them really like talking in front of anyone, so it may be a good surprise. Maybe. Some other aspects, I guess, are that they actually have to formulate a speech about something they like, which is rare because my school never exactly makes us present anything, which is weird, but I like it for that. Thank you.
What are your Toastmaster goals and how would you see it helping you at school and in life? Toastmaster Isaac.
So for me, my Toastmaster goals are to one, improve my public speaking, obviously, but I want to be able to take it to the next level because I've always had a stutter whenever I'm in front of a crowd. We all get nervous, happens to the best of us. But I want to be able to remove that, be able to speak fluently. And I wanted to be a car salesman at an expensive dealership like Porsche or McLaren. I want to be able to sell my customers good appliances, good cars, and I want to have that sales pitch. I want to just be able to do it like that, not have to think about it. So that's why I chose Toastmasters, and that's what I want to improve.
Great job. Okay. Same question. What are your Toastmaster goals and how do you see it helping you at school and in life? Laquita? What are your Toastmaster goals? Oh, you're just, okay, okay. Never mind. Okay. Okay. What aspects of Toastmasters would your friends find interesting and make them want to join Toastmasters? Toastmaster X. What aspects of Toastmasters would your friends find interesting and would make them want to join?
So my friend group is a very interesting friend group. They talk more than anybody I know, including my friend. Her name is Penelope, and she talks every single day, especially on the group chat. She's the only one active 24/7. And so judging from that, I think the table topics section would be her favorite part, and that would probably make her want to join because she yaps way too much. Thank you.
In what ways have you seen our youth Toastmasters grow in Toastmasters over the last 6 months? Toastmaster Horse.
Thank you for the question. In what ways have I seen our youth Toastmasters grow over the last 6 months? Let me extend it out to the last 2 years. Since we started the program as a youth leadership program, at least 2 years, actually 3 years ago, we have seen, or I have seen tremendous growth. First, as Deanna said, each Toastmaster, especially when they first come in, they're a little bit shy, but they always seem to overcome. So they overcome that shyness. And as Eric just talked about, one of his friends who likes to talk all the time, once they get into the groove of things, they have no problem expressing themselves. So the thing that I've seen over the last 6 months is the confidence that everyone displays, and it is magnificent. And I hope we can continue to grow the program even further and reach more students. Thank you, Sarah.
Tell us about your experience at the Toastmasters competition a few weeks ago, how you did and what advice you would give to the youth Toastmasters if they enter a competition. Toastmaster Anna.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. As y'all heard, I participated in speech contest 2 weeks ago. It is on the area level. We had 12 speakers participating in the international speech contest, and I came to the first place. Yay for me! But it is a great experience. I had a story and I learned from that real experience. But the first time I delivered that speech, it was here. And I probably some of you heard that Christmas program story. But when I sign up for the competition, I know I'm short because there are some questions I haven't addressed in that speech. So the week before the competition, I really look at my story, just like when I go to the movie with my son, Peter, we always talk about, hey, do you think that story really line up? Is something missing there? What could I have done better in that movie? So I criticized my own speech and really finally connect all the dots together and made sure my last part addressed the most important question is, how are we gonna do it? Because the first time I did my speech, I didn't address that question. I just called to the action, but I didn't give them a method to act on. So the week before the competition, I was able to finish that part. And then I looked at all the speech, the whole speech. The last time I feel, okay, this sounds like a good story, complete story. On the day I went to the competition, I wasn't really nervous because I have this story I just want to tell. So I went there, I was doing all that, body movements, vocal variety, all the things you will learn here in this club from that menu. You will learn all that here. I use all those methods. And at the end, I feel pretty confident and comfortable. So I'm glad I got the first place, and I think I will continue doing it. And I encourage everyone to participate in the competition when the opportunity comes up. Thank you.
I believe that's everybody for paper topics.
Thank you so much, sir. Well, we're now at that portion of the meeting where we actually get into the evaluations portion for those two prepared speeches. But just before we go there, let me ask Toastmaster Tim if he would show the origami piece that because you flashed it up really quick, and I'm not sure everybody was able to see it.
Different from the website.
Got it. Now I can see it. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to move on into the evaluation section. This is our third portion of the meeting, and this is where the growth, if you will, happens, because each speaker will be evaluated, and depending on the time, once the evaluations are done, if there is anyone else who would like to share something that they saw that the speaker could use, I will call on them at that point. So for our first speaker, that was Mr. Tim Zhou. His evaluator is Peter. Mr. Peter, help us out. What did you think? What did you see? What did you hear? What did you feel?
All right. So Tim gave a speech on hobbies, and in particular, why hobbies are a great thing to have in your life. So just a couple of things that I noted. I didn't really know which, to the new people that are here, we go by specific speeches, and each speech has a specific criteria that you try to meet. However, I did not know exactly what speech that Tim was doing, so I just graded it off of the first one, which is an icebreaker. So firstly, for vocal variety, I believe that at times it was really good. You went up, you went down, which entices the audience because it gives them more to think about, and it just sounds better, honestly. But sometimes it also got a little monotone, and you started talking like this the whole time, and you started just talking on and on and on at the same exact pace and voice. So that's just something that you can work on, that you can have more of a vocal variety throughout the speech. The other thing is that preparation. I believe that you prepared really well. You obviously knew what you were talking about. You brought up 2 studies or researches, I believe, which proved your point further. And I didn't see you look down at, or I didn't see you reading any notes, which is a common thing for people to do. Just read off a note sheet, which is good that you didn't exactly read off of a English card or a script. So also what I really liked was the visual aids. Obviously, Mr. Horace Taylor told you to hold up the origami, and I really like that because you showed a physical representation of what your hobby is, and then right after that you said, oh, how can hobbies help you, and yeah, how can hobbies help you, and how we can use them in our daily lives. And I'd like more of that. If you had more origami pieces that you would like to show, or more hand gestures, I believe it would be great. So that's really all that I have for you, and yeah, great speech.
Thank you so much, and an excellent evaluation. Oh, I should have called on the general evaluator. Who's today's general evaluator?
Okay. Okay, I apologize. I'm not sure, the agenda got kind of mixed up, so I'm not sure who the evaluator for Mr. Pendergast is. Okay. Please help me welcome Mike. Is it? Oh my God. Michael? Yeah. Please help me welcome Michael to evaluate Mr. Pendergast.
So for his speech today, which Mr. Pendergrass pulled out of his pocket without any previous preparation, as far as we know, he talked about forms of communication, which I believe is actually an under-discussed topic, even though we're sitting in a speech club. More often, we're talking about something in our lives instead of how we're actually using our words to communicate. He talked about direct communication, which leaves no room for misunderstanding and is needed in corporate and emergency situations. But he also discussed more, what was it? Initiating conversation, where a person wanting to be more polite would use an everyday conversation. His preparation was good because, first of all, he did not need any sort of notes to read off of. He also specifically mentioned an example where he used direct communication and contrasted that with situations where he would use initiating conversation. His vocal variety was good. He did not have a monotone voice and instead had a flow to his speech that made it more easy to listen to. His body language, because this speech is not a special speech with actions to demonstrate, it was simple, but it did help aid his point when he was making one. Overall, his speech was very good, and I think I learned a lot from the speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I would now like to call on the grammarian, Peter, for his evaluation.
So I think it's
Oh, and sorry.
right. So for our prepared speeches today, Tim had only one and Jason had no interrupting words and had 2 uses of the word of the day. So I would really like to commend him for that. For our table topics, Michael, very excellent with 1 use of equivocal, which is the word of the day, and only 1 interrupting word. Me, I had 2 and I used the word of the day once. Deanna, Peter, Xavier, you 3 all had no uses of interrupting words, which I would really commend you on. Jonathan had 2 and Amara had 1. Nim had, I'm sorry, Jeannie had 3. Mia had 1, and Isaac, Eric, Horace, and Anna all had no interrupting words, which is awesome. And Horace also additionally used the word of the day, which is very great. And for our evaluations, both Peter and Michael had no interrupting words, which is also very impressive. That's my grammarian report. Thank you.
Thank you, Owen. Xavier will now report on how we've done with time.
All right. So for my timers report, our first speaker was Mr. Tim, coming in at just under time at 4:50. Next was Mr. Pendergrass at 4:15. And then going into our table topic session, our first speaker was Michael at 1 minute and 23 seconds. Second was Owen at 48 seconds. Third was Miss Diana with 1 minute or 51 seconds. Then I didn't catch who, I think it was Peter right next before me, so 1 minute 38. Then I had 1 minute 12 seconds. Next was Jonathan with 50 seconds. Then I believe there was a new person here. I didn't get the name on that. So 42 seconds. Then Miss Jenny with 1 minute and 2 seconds. Miss Mia with 45 seconds. I believe it was Isaac, I believe, with 33 seconds. Eric with 26 seconds. And finally, Mr. Horace with 1 minute and 7 seconds. And then for our evaluation part, forgot the evaluation, Miss Anna. Wait, there's one more table topics. That's right. Miss Anna's was 1 minute and 39 seconds. For our evaluations, was Mr. Peter with 2 minutes 30 seconds. And then Mr. Michael with 1 minute and 30 seconds. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Xavier. For my meeting evaluation, I guess I'd say that we didn't start exactly on time at 3:33 because we were just getting our roles sorted out. It's okay. My second point is, yeah, I liked Mr. Pendergrass's questions on his questions were all related to the reflection on the recent expo event. And overall, yeah, our meeting went well. We had great speeches and everyone delivered on their roles. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about at the close of our meeting, so I'm about to turn it back over to the club president. But before doing so, just remember one thing, speakers, when you're speaking, we have a timer, right? And the timer cycles through a green,